If you are an adult of any age at all, you're probably familiar with or have heard about your credit score. Now, there is this mystical, mathematical, financial algorithm that goes into computing it, so it's not easy to figure out or calculate, but you're no doubt familiar with it. You know some simple metrics. If you don't pay your bills, your credit score is probably going to go down. If you do pay your bills, it's probably going to go up. Pretty easy. Well, we have something else creeping into our lives that may not be quite that simple. Let's talk about it. Welcome to another edition of the Marty Chronicles on the Conservative Take platform. I'm Marty Nalitz. Thanks, as always, for viewing our content. I was talking a minute ago about credit scores. Most people are familiar with it. Now, there is a lot of concern in America that at some point we will head towards the Chinese social credit system. If you're familiar with that, it is an undertaking that they implemented a few years ago. It's not that old, but basically it is a credit score that is more a product of your beliefs, things you say, things like that. It's not a hardcore financial metric. We have something else sneaking in, starting with the corporate, called ESG, Environmental Social Governance. Now, you may have seen this in the news this past week. The S&P 500 took away Elon Musk's Tesla company, took away their ESG rating. And the upshoot of it is there's no good reason for it. They don't give an explanation. Now, it's easy to make the argument, and I think it's a convincing argument, that, since Elon has gone off the liberal reservation, all these things are happening. He's now been accused of sexual misconduct. All these things are coming up all of a sudden. So here's the thing. The problem with it is they are using this whole ESG thing in a way that could be harmful. Now, again, ESG means environmental social governance. First reared its ugly head, guess where? At a United Nations conference in 2006. The UN Principles for Responsible Investment, of course. And they put in this system to determine not if your investments were profitable, but if they were responsible. Initially, 65 different investment companies signed on to it. Today, there's almost 2,500 investment companies, Fortune 500 companies, many companies that signed on to this ESG. Now, I'll never understand why companies put themselves in a position of being rated in this way that has nothing, it offers them nothing in return. So that's where we're at. When you see what's happening with the ESG ratings, you'll probably be appalled. A lot of the issues that they rate companies on, of course, have to do with diversity, climate change, and things like that. In the event of Tesla, my understanding is they haven't really told them what the problem is. They just took away their rating altogether. So let's get back to the whole ESG. Now, a few years ago, after the Paris Agreement, of course, that was a big issue for this. It was making the rounds, and Exxon, big Exxon, they actually had a shareholder rebellion, and a large percentage of their shareholders demanded more ESG compliance. At the 2020 World Economic Forum, the WEF, the big four accounting firms, which, pretty much controls most of the accounting, they established a set of 22 metrics that would improve or to measure a company's commitment towards responsible forward thinking. Their words, not mine. Now, these are 22 metrics, and these metrics are all over the place. So don't misunderstand me. This is not a transparent, consistent set of financial metrics. This is, they revolve around, I'm reading some of these, a values chain. A big chunk is around sustainable development, responsible consumption, the company's efforts towards peace. And And again, is there anything more nebulous than determining a company's commitment for peace? How do you determine that? It all depends on who defines peace. So you've got a lot of things like that going on. Of course, social justice initiatives and things like that. So we have all of this going on around ESG. Now, why am I bringing it up now? I think it's becoming important now. Number one, again, it's in the news because, suddenly they're after Elon Musk with this. But we also have a World Economic Forum meeting coming up in a few months that has a suggested framework, including board composition, again, I'm reading this, greenhouse gas emissions, gender pay equality, diversity, net economic contribution, and community investment. Now, come on. Do any of those phrases sound like there could be a problem with them? And I mean by the implementation. Who is going to determine whether a company's community investment is a good thing or a bad thing? Net economic contribution. Of course, you've all been up and down the road with the gender pay equality and various diversity things. But they're going to get into a big part of this is going to revolve around greenhouse gas emissions, which is really puzzling. Why would you go after Tesla, if this is such a big part of it? Again, it seems, the reason I'm bringing this up, it seems like they are making an example of Elon Musk for whatever reason. As I said, it's puzzling. Elon has now announced he's never voted Republican, but he's going to, which of course is a mortal sin. But, with the Roe Wade debate that's been going on, he also volunteered Tesla's resources to fly women on abortion vacations and things like that. So he hasn't gone completely off the reservation. It's just odd. And it's important to note, Elon Musk, my understanding is he is the richest man in the world, at least measured. I've heard people say that Putin might actually be the richest. But in terms of the actual Forbes and Fortune companies measurements, he probably is the richest. So when you can take that guy and put him in a bind because of these things, if Tesla tries to, it's not just buy money, Tesla tries to sell stock. I hope you understand this. With that ESG rating removed, what that means is a lot of these 2,500 companies that are investment companies, they will not buy Tesla stock. They won't buy it. Millennials supposedly are hardcore attuned to the whole ESG rating, and millennials won't buy it. So you're taking a publicly traded corporation and hurting them. Put it however way you want, but they're going to hurt them. There are currently 4 major rating systems. Again, go back to your own personal credit. If you have followed your credit score or tried to keep track of your credit score, you're probably aware you have Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. They are the 3 major rating companies. And again, it's the equation is very complicated to try and figure it out, but they do use a mathematical equation based on the amount of credit you have, how well you use it, how old it is, et cetera, et cetera. There are 4 major ratings companies for ESG. Each one of them has its own focus and a different rating. One goes on a scale of 1 to 10. One goes on a scale of 10 to 100. And they all focus on different issues. So the 4 ratings companies aren't likely to agree. In fact, the SEC here in America, the Securities and Exchange Commission, has announced that they are going to come up with their own ESG rating. Now, again, I bring that up because it's a dangerous step. The SEC is going to get into the business of rating a company based on what they see as their community value and things like that. We're going down a dark road. And if this starts, I shouldn't say if this starts, there's 2,500 companies already doing this. You probably don't even know that. If there's that many companies doing this, soon there will be double that signed onto it. And once they've got all the companies that you do business with signed on to this, how long do you think it'll be before an ESG system is possibly assigned to our individual lives? Give that some thought, and we'll hope to talk about it next time right here on the Conservative Take platform.